A 15-year-old is dead after she was shot in the head and her brother also shot in West Philadelphia last week. A church group says the teen was with her brother on Chestnut Street February 23rd when they were both shot. The teen's brother, who has not been identified, was treated and discharged from Penn Presbyterian. Police do not have anyone in custody.
Investigators trying to figure out who shot and killed another 15-year-old in the city's King Sessing section. Police say someone opened fire from the back of a silver Ford Taurus last night in an apparently random act of violence. Action News reporter Corey Davis talked to the victim's parents, who say none of this makes any sense.
Antonio Walker Jr. lost his life out here at South 52nd and Pinterest Street. His parents are telling us that the gun violence he fell victim to had nothing to do with who he was as a person. Antonio Walker Jr.'s parents are keeping this picture close, hanging on to everything that reminds them of their 15-year-old son.
The loss of a kid, I will be mourning for the rest of my life.
No parent should ever have to bury the kid. It's my only son.
Antonio's life was taken while walking with someone down South 52nd near Pentridge Street last night around 7 in King Sessing.
His life was brutally cut short.
Philadelphia police say someone...
That's just two of, I want to say, 4 killings of juveniles that have taken place within less than a week. Not only in America, right here in Philadelphia where I reside, there was a quadruple shooting last night where a 16-year-old kid lost his life. Before that family even came to identify that young man, there was another shooting within a few miles of that area where a 15-year-old kid lost his life. 3 people who I have listed on the cover of this particular weekly update. There's a young man in Jamaica who was 16 years old, and about 20 men accosted him and killed him in a shop while he had his 2-year-old brother with him. All of them had assault weapons. The young lady in Bada was a model student, stand-up person, a leader at her school. Her life was cut short by somebody the same age as she was, 15. And I played the story about the other young man. There's not really too much I could say pertaining to those stories because I don't know all of the intricate details, but I just felt compelled to post that because when I see crime, it's always in a pattern. It's always in a pattern. So like you hear one 15-year-old get killed and then it's like a domino effect. If them a take away woman hard, it's like a domino effect. I'm not sure why everybody's so prone to violence. I don't know if it's like clout chasing. I don't know if it's a direct result of everybody being on lockdown and not being able to facilitate a decent living. I don't know if it's by design. I don't know where all of these guns come from. High-powered assault weapons are being accessible to 15-year-old children, being used to kill them. I'm dumbfounded. Can't understand it. I was actually driving my car the other day and somebody rear-ended me in North Philly. And, you know, I got out, you know, exercising my right to assess the damage to my vehicle. And upon getting out of my vehicle, there was a bunch of young men standing on the corner. You notice I refer to them as young men. They're spiritually immature because they obviously don't know themselves. But once I attempted to assess the damage to my vehicle, they began to surround me and hold up their waist and posture up and abruptly told me to get back in my car and go where I was going. So I guess I was obstructing whatever they were doing on at the corner at that particular time. And usually when things like that happen to me, I get confirmation, you know, that I acted in the right manner, you know, because I could have postured up as well, but that would have been senseless because there obviously was no wind there. I could have called the police on them. There were several ways that I could have felt redeemed in the situation, but I've been brought to a point where leaving with my life was, you know, the best choice for me. Leaving without having to take someone else's life is always the best choice for me. And, you know, a lot of people hear you put in, you're punk, you know, man, and a boy can't do me that. And that's not even you talking, bro. That's your ego. And if on the flip side of it, you're one of those people who like post, oh, how much you love your kids and how much you love your wife, then you're not going to do anything to jeopardize that. And you're going to try to find a way to be there for your children or whatever it is that you love, to maintain some normalcy to your life, to not let someone else dictate your destiny. I'm not really sure why violence is always the first resort. I'm nobody's conspiracy theorist, but I'd like to think that if it's not a direct result, it's an indirect result of the way the system is set up. It's like when you put mice in a maze and they're trying to navigate through that maze. When their back's against the wall, some will get out and some won't. The easiest thing to do is the bad thing, or to just throw your hands up and give up. And when you give up, and when you let your ego feel like your way is the only way, then a lot of times you end up doing something that ultimately you're going to regret. Not really sure who needs to hear this. This update is a little different. Out of respect to the children, you know, I won't even do like I would normally do and talk about who's on these upcoming shows that we have this weekend. I just want to send my condolences to those families. I can't even imagine what it's like burying a child, let alone a 15-year-old aspiring athlete or honor student, or what kind of trauma that little 2-year-old in Jamaica is gonna face, you know. Serious. Anyway, folks, so now have a good day. Those stories that I put up, you obviously can find them in the news if you want to read more about them. They're all courtesy of local news stations. It's a rather sad state that the world is in. And I just hope that we can navigate through all of this collectively. Big up on itself. FICO Settings signing off. Overall Settings, the podcast that differs, yeah?